Chad Edward with Fighters.com here with Mojo Horne, fighting Bubba McDaniel at MMA Big Show, Belterra Casino, September 12th. How you doing, Mojo?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Good. I talked to you a little bit after you had beat Bring the Pain Josh Haynes, who was a tough finalist. That was about a year ago?
Yeah, May of last year.
Yeah, May of last year. And you were talking about, getting some attention from some national shows. Have you gotten any attention since then?
Yeah, there's been a few calls about me. Jason's just trying to let me have time to get where I need to be to fight these bigger shows. He's a good manager. Actually, Big Show's about to go nationally televised, so I will be getting national exposure from that.
That's great. And Jason Appleton is your manager.
Yeah.
And he's also he runs MMA Big Show. Let's talk a little bit about the struggles of it. You're a good fighter, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of guys who have not beat Josh Haynes. Josh was in the UFC. He went through the whole tough process, and you've beaten some other good guys as well, besides Josh. But let's talk a little bit about the struggles of a good fighter trying to get noticed on the scene these days. There's so many good fighters across the nation. There's a lot of bad fighters too, and they're kind of they create a lot of static for the good fighters. What are some of the struggles you've had to deal with to get noticed?
The main struggle is just finding the time to train the way you need to train and work and pay bills. Because when you first start out, there's not really a lot of money in it. I'm just getting to where I'm comfortable with my purses, and things are getting a little easier. But that's the main thing, just finding the time and the finances to train. A good sponsor is hard to find too because of the economy and everything like that.
Right, yeah. And you work full-time basically as well?
Yeah.
In addition to training, and you fight pretty regularly, what, every 3-4 months?
Yeah, I try to stay busy, otherwise I gain about 40 pounds.
Right. After 6 months you go to heavyweight, right?
Yeah, that's where I started.
Oh yeah? And also in April, you had actually flown out to Seattle and auditioned for The Ultimate Fighter. They decided to go a different direction. They didn't go with middleweights, but tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was a pretty good experience. Flew out, didn't spend a lot of time out there. It was pretty much flew out there, auditioned, came back. They just had us, we rolled, and then I was actually the last person to roll on the whole thing, and that was horrible.
Who do you roll with? Do you roll with one of their guys?
Yeah, random guys. I actually, I was an oddball number, I guess, and I walked up and they were like, "Who wants to roll with Mojo?" And then like 400 people jumped up. I was like, holy shit. After that, the guys that made it through the rolling process pretty much cut them in half.
Yeah.
Of course, I made it through that, and then we did the pad work, and then whoever made it through that got the interviews.
Right.
Made it all the way through.
And there was an interview process, and tell us a little bit about that.
Just come in, they try to test your personality. They tell you before you get interviewed, this is not a job interview. Do not come in, ma'am and sir in it. Come in, show your personality, cuss at us, blah, blah, blah. And they come in, they try to mess with you a little bit, see how you react. Because they want some jackasses on the show. Sure,
yeah. And in fact, maybe recently it's become more of that than fighters.
Ratings are ratings, man.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're coming off your first loss, John Troyer, who's a very good fighter. Your manager, Jason, who we spoke of, he kind of hinted at a little physical ailment before that fight. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, not to take away from John's wins. Like you said, he is a really good fighter. But I wasn't 100% that fight. I had some sinus problems. My equilibrium was a little off. And I mean, it showed in the fight. I got tired. I'm just not the type of person that gets tired. I drive. And I just didn't have it in me that night. I went out. I tried to put on a good show because a lot of people come to see me fight.
Right.
I just caught a knee and went down.
Yeah. And do you think John was a step up in competition over your previous competition, or is he about? Have you been in that level before?
I think if me and John are a really good matchup. I mean, our styles, complement each other. John's decent on the ground, good standing up. I'm about the same. I think the rematch is going to be a really good fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
And the rematch will be?
No dates actually set yet. It'll probably be sometime in the spring.
And you're going to be fighting between now and then, right?
Definitely.
So, and like I said, you keep pretty busy. 3-4 months. You're in the cage again. On Saturday the 12th, you're fighting Bubba McDaniel. He's an established fighter, a good jiu-jitsu guy. Did you have any? What were your considerations before taking the fight with Bubba? I mean, he is coming off your loss. He is a pretty high level of talent again, coming right off that.
Well, I watched some fights. Me and my trainers watched some fights. Jim Kelly's my jiu-jitsu instructor. He told me I really didn't have much to worry about him on the ground. He actually told me to concentrate on my striking with Neil Rowe.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. I'm not. I mean, I don't go into fights worrying about what they have. I just make sure I got what I have.
Sure. And Jim Kelly, he's your jiu-jitsu instructor. Where do you train jiu-jitsu at?
Cincinnati Jiu-Jitsu Academy.
And you also train stand-up at?
Seiken Mixed Martial Arts.
Right on. I watched a little bit of video of Bubba. He looks like he's got a pretty active guard on the ground. He, from what I saw in a couple of the fights, he got overpowered by wrestlers. Do you have any sort of ground strategy as far as that goes? You say you're not really worried about it, but I mean, will you try to match him technique, or are you going to try to overpower him with wrestling?
All the above.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got plans, they got punched in the face.
Right,
so
right.
I just go in there and I fight the fight, not the fighter.
But you're not worried about it on the ground at all?
It's a fight.
Right. And like I said, you train at the Cincinnati Jiu-Jitsu. Have you done any advanced submission grappling training since you took the fight at all?
No. I mean, Jim kind of took over our training, and he put us through 3 days of hell. It's tough, and then we do a lot of gi work too. It makes you tired, it makes you submissions and escapes a lot better.
Do you do any, in addition to, like you said, you train stand-up at Seiken and ground game at Cincy BJJ, do you do any special conditioning training with anybody?
Oh yeah, the sweatshop. Shane Sweat, actually, at the sweatshop. And he's another one. He put us through some really hard workouts.
Right on. All right, thanks a lot, Mojo. Good luck. Again, the fight is Bubba McDaniel, Mojo Horne at Belterra Casino, September 12th. That is a MMA Big Show production. Thanks a lot.